Hey, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about building a quiet business away from all of the gimmicks, hacks, trends and viral noise. When we're out there looking around the online space and we are trying to grow our businesses in all of the spaces online, we sometimes feel that all of the messages we hear are about buying into all of the hacks and working 24/7 and spreading ourselves everywhere. And that those things are what we have to do in order to get the growth and the success and the revenue in that we want and need. That, in actual fact, is far from the reality for many female small business owners. For most of us, we want to build a business that is a business that fits around our life, and that is a business that we are able to manage day by day without burning ourselves out. And many of us have zero interest in chasing the millions and millions and millions of pounds of revenue in the bank that many of the greats out there show up and talk about and share about. Now, I'm not taking away from the likes of the greats. When you look at people like Alex and Layla Hormozi, who are huge in the online space right now, or Gary Vee, who is also huge, been around for a while, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Russell Brunson, all of these big names out there in the online space are business owners who have grown multi-million-dollar businesses. And credit to them for doing that. They mostly have large teams around them that enable them to be present in a way that then enables them to manage growing multi-million-pound businesses. But for female small business owners like me, who are mostly solopreneurs working from home and building our businesses around all of the other responsibilities we have going on in our life, building a multi-million-pound business is something that really isn't in our stratosphere. We're not interested in that. At least I'm not interested in doing so. What I want is a business that I can manage every day. That is a business that I really enjoy being in every day because it's fulfilling my passion, but it's not burning me out and bringing me to my knees. And I want my business to be able to create enough revenue that brings consistent stability financially into our home moving forwards. Now, for me, that financial stability is nowhere near a multi-million-dollar brand, which is great. That's how I want it. And for you, having a business that is sustainable but brings enough revenue in to change your life and to bring financial stability to your home is probably also a business that doesn't need to make millions of dollars or pounds every year in order for that to happen. So when we look out into the online space, a lot of the messages that we see and hear are messages around earning millions, having these massive launches that bring in six figures at launch, and then repeating that process time after time after time, and having a team around that enables us to be visible everywhere, and working really hard consistently every single day in our business for long hours in order to bring those millions of dollars or pounds in revenue in, and then to sustain that level of income. When we look at all of those messages, we can sometimes feel that we are failing because, one, we don't really want to be at that level. Two, we feel that because we don't want to buy into all of the hacks and the viral marketing trends, that we are again somehow failing because that's just what everybody else seems to be shouting about online. And three, that if we set revenue goals for ourselves that are lower revenue goals that make perfect sense to us, but are revenue goals that we don't really hear an awful lot about when we're cruising online, that again, somehow we are falling short of what we should be doing as business owners. But I stepped away from all of that noise some years ago. And I made the decision that actually what I wanted to do was to grow a quiet business that brings enough revenue in to make my business financially viable and for us to be able to live a very nice life, and to be able to do so in a way where I can come and sit at my desk every day, know what I'm showing up to do, but know that what I am showing up to do is not going to overwhelm me every single day. So generally speaking, I can start my daily business life at around 10 o'clock in the morning, and I can finish by 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and I can take a break to take Hetty out for a walk, and I can take a break for lunch. And if anything comes up in life that pulls me away from my business for any length of time, I can manage that without my business sinking. And the reason that I can do all of that is because I grow my business quietly. And I know exactly where I'm going to be visible. I know the type of content I'm going to be creating for each of my spaces. I know how much content I'm going to create on a week-by-week basis to keep those spaces alive and ticking. I know the messages that I want to share with my audience. I know what it is my audience wants and needs from me, so that when ladies come on board, they come on board and they stick around because I'm giving them the value that they need to grow their own businesses. And I can do all of that without ever having to look at any sort of hack or trend or viral noise that is shouted about out there. We don't need that in our businesses in order for our businesses to make sense, in order for our businesses to be viable, and in order for our businesses to be successful. In the same vein, we also don't need our businesses to have hundreds of thousands of followers on multiple platforms in order for us to be able to create the business that we want, that matches the business of our dreams, that fits around the life that we want to live. I wanted to just share a little bit of information today about the approach that I take to a quiet business. And I'm sharing in the hope that it is something that you can take forwards with you and feel real relief that actually you haven't got to buy into all of the noise that is out there in order to be successful in your business. So the thing to understand is that many loud businesses just end up burning out. And I have seen time after time after time business owners walk away from their businesses because they have bought into all of the noise, and they have been hustling, and they have been trying to burn the candle at both ends, and they have been trying to be in all of the spaces, and eventually that has brought them to their knees and they've had to give up and walk away. We don't want that for you. We want you to be able to show up in your business every day and enjoy what you're doing, be busy. Understandably, that is going to be par for the course, but also to be able to enjoy what you're doing without burning out, knowing that what you are doing every single day is going to bring the success you want and need. Quiet businesses and quiet business owners don't burn out because those businesses are built on solid foundations with strategy and consistency and forwards planning that enables you to have a very simple roadmap that you can follow and manage every single day to guide you to your North Star revenue goal each year. So it's really important for you to understand what matters in your business. And there are some foundational things that really matter that are going to help you build a quiet business model that will get you the growth you want and need. So when I talk about a quiet business model, I frame that as having 5 or 6 key things in place in your business. The first is that you have a mailing list in place, and that mailing list is fundamentally core to your daily and weekly business activities. That mailing list gives you the ability to be able to show up and engage and communicate and sell more quietly, but in a way that is going to bring you a greater level of sales, because mailing lists still convert significantly better into sales than social spaces, for example. Second is to choose 1 or 2 key social spaces that you make your core social spaces. So this is not about you trying to be everywhere and trying to get your content out onto all of the platforms. It's about understanding which platforms make the most sense for your business and choosing 1 or 2 that you can go into more deeply than if you were spreading yourself too thinly across too many spaces. If you have a team behind you, your social spaces are easier to manage. Then you can have broader visibility. But when it's just you have to be really mindful about the level of time you have available to invest in your social spaces. So as we move forwards towards 2026, for me, my number one core social space is Facebook. And the reason that I have chosen Facebook is because I still believe, out of all of the social spaces that are out there, that Facebook has the single best ecosystem to help you grow your business. And in fact, there are ladies in my community who have really focused hard on their Facebook visibility, and they are now at millions of consistent monthly views of their content. They are growing their following in that space by hundreds and hundreds of new followers every single week, every single month, and they are able to monetize Facebook and start to earn revenue from that particular platform. It gives you such great scope to grow your business, and yet people rule it out. They think it's old and dead. It is still the number one social space out there. So for me, Facebook is my number one priority social space moving into 2026. Second to that is I have a presence over on Substack. Now, Substack is a slightly more gentle space, and it's a space that I like. It gives you the ability to post little notes like you do on X, for example, and it gives you the ability to create longer form posts that are articles. So that's a secondary space for me, but it's not a priority space. And I do also have Instagram in the mix, but Instagram is just a keep it ticking over and repurpose content from Facebook. So I know that next year, my biggest commitment from a social perspective is going to be Facebook, because it's giving me the best opportunity for growth overall when I look at all of these social spaces that are out there. So you need to choose your primary social space for the year ahead and to be prepared to do a few things. Make sure that that space is set up fully and properly. Make sure that you are in a space where your audience exists and is looking for businesses like you. Make sure that you have a very consistent posting schedule and posting in a way that the platform wants you to post, because the way that you post on Facebook is very different to the way that you post on TikTok. And being prepared to learn everything you can about that platform and what it wants from you so that you can show up and deliver to the platform the way that it wants you to, but also be present and visible for the audience, giving them what they need there as well. So the next part of your quiet business model should be a longer form content space. Now, the great thing about a longer form content space is it allows you to create longer form content that showcases your credibility and expertise more effectively than your social spaces ever will. But those longer form spaces also have a shelf life when it comes to your content. So on social, your content lives and dies very quickly, but in longer form content spaces, your content there will have a much longer shelf life, meaning each piece of content has the ability to bring more people to you. So my longer form content space for 2026 is YouTube. I'm going all in there. It is still an amazing platform for businesses like mine and for creative businesses as well. It is still one of the most searched spaces out there when people are looking for information about how to or what to do. And so I will be present there creating one video a week. And that will be my consistent strategy over the course of the coming year. The other long form spaces that you can choose from are either a blog or a podcast. Now, many of the ladies in my community who are creative business owners have a blog. And the reason they have a blog is because it just works for them. They do things like put free patterns on there if they're crochet business owners or knitting business owners or quilting business owners, or they put out useful information about health if they are some sort of a health coach, for example. And those blogs still work exceptionally well for them. So a longer form content space should be part of your quiet business. Now, the other part of the business foundation that you should consider, if it's relevant to your niche, is Pinterest. Because if you are in a niche that Pinterest likes, Pinterest has the power to drive insane amounts of traffic to other places in your business. So again, ladies in my community, particularly those who are in creative niches, have Pinterest strategy, and they use Pinterest to drive traffic to their blog, and they use Pinterest to drive traffic to their YouTube channels, and they use Pinterest to drive traffic to their email list and to their products and services as well. And some of those ladies are at the point with their Pinterest strategy where they have anywhere between 20 and 30,000 organic outbound clicks from Pinterest every single month. Now, that is a significant amount of traffic that they are driving to other places in their business. And the result of that is that Pinterest becomes part of the monetization of their business, because that traffic, when it is sent to other places in their business, creates money in the places that the traffic is being driven to. So if you are in a niche that is good for Pinterest, a creative niche, some of the coaching niches, home interiors, home organization, finance niches, health and wellness niches, fashion niches, those sort of niches can do really well on Pinterest. And if you are in a niche that is good for Pinterest, then it is a really good space to have as part of your quiet business model. You don't have to have face on camera. You don't have to follow gimmicks, hacks and trends out over there. Every pin that you put out on Pinterest can have a long shelf life, so you can put out a pin today that still brings you traffic 8 years down the line. So it's well worth considering that as part of a quieter business. I was on Pinterest. I have let it go because for my niche, it's not a particularly brilliant space for large-scale organic traffic. So that is really not part of my strategy moving forwards, and the time that I would have invested in Pinterest is now being invested over in Facebook, which is a much more valuable space for me and my business moving forwards. So of course, the other part of your foundational quiet business is that you need a space to be able to sell from. So you need a website, or you need an Etsy store or something similar. And then there's one more part of a quiet business model that over time can be highly, highly valuable to you. And that space is ManyChat. Now, ManyChat gives you the ability to create automated messages primarily for Instagram and Facebook right now. And it means that when you are showing up on Facebook and Instagram and you are trying to serve your audience with something, whether it is a freebie or a paid for offer, then ManyChat can do a lot of the hard lifting of that whole process for you, so that you can put content out on Facebook and Instagram, and you can offer people your freebies or your paid for offers, and then you can get ManyChat to do the majority of the weight of getting that thing, that freebie or that offer, to any person that is interested. The amount of time that will save you over the course of the weeks and months and years ahead will be insane. And so I highly recommend to all of the ladies that are in my community, if they're on Facebook or Instagram, that ManyChat is part of their quiet business model. Now, those places and spaces in combination, so a mailing list, 1 or 2 social platforms, a long form content space, which would either be a blog, a podcast or a YouTube channel, a website or marketplace platform where you sell from, and ManyChat is all you need in your business to be able to have a business that you can manage, that gives you enough visibility to start to bring people to you, and gives you the ability to be able to show up in primary spaces without you ever having to chase a single gimmick, hack or trend ever again. The ladies that are in my community that have that quiet business model in place are the ladies that are growing more quickly. And over the past year, I have seen a number of those ladies go from having business models that were crazy and all over the place, and they were trying to be everywhere, and they had no real clarity about where they were showing up and what they should be doing in their spaces, and whether the spaces were the right spaces for them, and how consistently they should be showing up in those spaces, and the strategy they should be using for individual spaces, because each space has different strategy. Who then moved over to, let's take all of that noise out of the way and let's rebuild a business with a quiet business model in the way that I have shared with you here today, are ladies that have then gone from really struggling to suddenly, over the course of 12 months, starting to see some amazing growth, and in some cases, insane growth. And so the whole reason that I promote and encourage female business owners who are working from home, solopreneurs, have got a life that they have to deal with as well, to step away from all the noise and instead step into a quiet business model, is because it is such a calmer, more peaceful way to grow a business that you can manage, but it's a business that also brings you results. So the takeaway from today is that if you are feeling a little bit discombobulated, all over the place, crazy, out of control, burnt out, you've had a year that hasn't really brought you the growth and the success that you want and need, you're wondering what you need to do in 2026 to change that and to be able to have a business that you can manage daily, that brings you joy, but that fits around your life, and also gives you the growth and the success and the sales that you want and need, please just think about stepping away from all of the noise, getting all of the gimmicks, hacks and trends out of the equation, cutting yourself off from all of that noise, and start to think about how you can put in place a quiet business model that is going to enable you to be consistent in your spaces in a way that you can manage, and in a way that is going to bring you the growth and the success over the course of the coming year, that will give you greater opportunity to meet the North Star revenue goal you have set for the year ahead. In the show notes, there will be some links to some free resources that are going to help you to start to understand more about a quiet business model and how it can work for you and your business, and where you need to show up and why you need to show up and how you need to show up. And that can be the start of your blueprint to walking into 2026 feeling that you are going to be right back in control of not only your business, but your business growth and your success over the coming year. And I hope that you find those free resources useful. Please remember to hit the subscribe for my channel. I have completely cleared my channel down as of this point and started my channel over from scratch. And everything that I will be bringing to the channel will be helping to guide you to build a quiet business model in spaces that are relevant to your business, that are going to bring you the growth, the success that you need, that's going to change your business from crazy and out of control and not bringing you the revenue that you need, to getting you to much safer waters, and you feeling that you are finally in control of a business that you love, that you understand, and that gives you a forwards path and blueprint that you can show up and follow every day, to start to make sure that you are getting the growth to lead you to the revenue goal that makes sense to you, that doesn't have to be millions and millions and millions in the bank like all of the greats, but just has to be enough that it changes yours and your family's life for good. So thanks for being here with me today. I hope you found some of this message useful, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care for now. Bye bye.